Hello guys, I'm Ash from Footballita. Today we are here in Jakarta, Indonesia with one of the biggest names I think in football for me on social media, seasia.com or seagoal.com. I see them always on Instagram.
Yes.
And I'm here with one of the faces or the names behind it. So can you introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit more about Southeast Asia Goal?
Okay, sure. The first, my English is not good, Kak. So
It's okay.
we talk about the Indonesian, maybe
Bisa.
a little English, okay?
Dikit-dikit ya.
Yes, perkenalkan, saya dari Asia Goal, Julian.
Berapa lama ya Southeast Asia Goal sudah berada di Instagram?
Maybe we are newbie ya. Kita baru mungkin maybe 6 months or less than 1 year.
And in less than 1 year, Southeast Asia Goal has grown to over 100,000 followers. So
yeah.
congrats ya.
Kita ini beda dengan konsep yang seperti kebanyakan sosial media atau akun-akun sepak bola yang ada di Indonesia. Seperti kita menggunakan konsep meme atau lebih ke konsisten kami dalam mengolah konten sepak bola terutama di Asia Tenggara ya gitu.
Yeah, especially in Indonesia, it's very big, the
Yes.
community of fans ya di sini. So today, Julian, saya mau bicara sedikit tentang bola sepak Indonesia, naturalization. Bisa bicara tentangnya. So
Sure.
we can speak a little bit about naturalization. So in Indonesia, recently we have seen many players being naturalized, and this is also some, I think, exciting news for the fans. So maybe Julian, you can share mengapa ya? Why is it so many players being naturalized to play for Indonesia?
Bagaimana ya, sebetulnya jika dibilang banyak, mungkin belum terlalu banyak ya. Mungkin sekarang terakhir pemanggilan squad sekitar mungkin 11 antara 13 ya. Naturalisasi, dan itu pun sebetulnya mungkin kalau di kami bilangnya enggak seperti naturalisasi pada umumnya yang harus tinggal misalkan minimal 5 tahun di Indonesia, tapi kita lebih ke mengambil pemain-pemain keturunan kita. They have roots, they have a skin, they have Indonesian blood, so
Like a grandparent
yes,
or parent who's
correct.
Indonesian.
And most of them have Indonesian blood from their parents.
Yes.
Orang tua mereka mungkin the father or the mother is
Yeah.
Indonesian. So I think ini a good.
It's good for Indonesian
yes.
football.
Good track ya, especially from Erick Thohir.
Yeah.
He's the only one really merombak struktur sepak bola yang ada di Indonesia.
So, pada pendapat kamu, does it affect the local players, pemain yang born and raised di Indonesia? Kerana
Yeah.
naturalization, people think it's better than a local player. What about the local Indonesian players?
Ya, I think itu minusnya ya. Mungkin karena adanya naturalisasi, pemain-pemain lokal kita mungkin agak tergerus ya dari persaingan. Tapi ini sebetulnya nggak bagus karena dengan adanya naturalisasi, pemain-pemain lokal kita juga akan catch up atau menyaingi dengan performa atau level yang ada di tim-tim naturalisasi. Makanya bukan hanya naturalisasi kita pemain yang bermain abroad ya, luar ya, tapi ada pemain-pemain lokal kita seperti Marcelino, Pratama Arhan, Asnawi dan lain-lain itu juga bermain di luar negeri ketimbang bermain di domestik ya, di Indonesia.
Tapi ada yang tadi kami bicara tentang naturalization di Singapura. Awalnya Singapura yang lebih
Yes,
bikin.
the first naturalization in Southeast Asia yang bikin populer itu di Singapura.
Kerana sekarang kami tidak seberapa naturalization of players. So do you think it will help if we naturalize more players?
I think about naturalization. My English is not good, so
It's okay.
I can speak Indonesian as well ya. Naturalisasi ini hal yang normal ya di sepak bola Eropa atau modern, bahkan ya seperti France, Argentina, bahkan
Germany,
kebanyakan
Spain
pemain
juga,
dengan
ya.
Spain, Italy. So it's a normal day in football modern. Orang-orang yang seperti tidak setuju dengan adanya naturalisasi atau ya itu mungkin tidak mengikuti perkembangan
Bola
sepak
sepak
bola
ya. Apakah yang goal untuk timnas untuk untuk AFF tahun ini?
Ini belum ada statement resmi dari PSSI atau Erick Thohir. Mungkin ini penilaianku bahwa kemungkinan timnas tidak akan terlalu fokus ke AFF pada tahun ini karena ya Indonesia lebih fokus ke turnamen kualifikasi
World Cup qualifiers, yeah.
round 3. Maybe Erick Thohir or Sinteyong or coach focus to play
World
or
Cup
bring
qualifier,
the second player pemain lapis, something like that.
So now I want to ask you about the World Cup qualifiers. Indonesia is the only ASEAN team representing ASEAN. Is it a pressure for the
Sure.
team?
Yeah. I think at first, me as Indonesian, ya bangga ya. Tapi sebelum Indonesia, sebelumnya Thailand atau Vietnam juga sudah merasakannya gitu kan. Lolos sebelumnya mungkin Thailand di kualifikasi Piala Dunia tahun 2018.
18.
Yes, 18 of Vietnam 2002,
Yes.
2022 di Qatar. And yeah, this Indonesian time. But if you see a draw, it's very hard.
Yes, Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, yeah.
Yes, Japan,
China.
Saudi Arabia, Australia.
Yes.
But STY and Erick Thohir set a target. Maybe we can qualify as the best third or fourth place to go fourth round.
Fourth round.
Yes, kita udah lolos
Yeah.
Piala Asia 2007.
Yes. Okay, tanya. Saya mau tanya tentang sedikit Shin Tae-yong ya.
Ya, Shin Tae-yong.
adalah coach that is very respected Indonesia. Mengapa ya pada kamu Shin Tae-yong sukses?
Based my opinion ya, Shin Tae-yong hebat. Dan mungkin pelatih-pelatih Korea, terutama di Asia Tenggara, ketimbang dari pelatih Jepang atau pelatih Asia lainnya atau Eropa, mungkin Korea yang lebih terbaik gitu. Kita bisa lihat sebelumnya mungkin Park Hang-seo, Vietnam, dia berhasil membawa Vietnam menembus sejarah ya, banyak penghargaan dalam sepak bola. Nah, Indonesia wanna follow that. Ya, dan ya, aku rasa Shin Tae-yong mungkin bahkan bisa melampaui apa pencapaian dari Park Hang-seo, mantan pelatih dari Vietnam. Dan ya, kita semua orang Indonesia pasti mencintai mereka. Mencintai Shin Tae-yong. Pasti.
Sekarang saya mau tanya kamu sedikit tentang Southeast Asia Goal ya. Selalu saya lihat banyak meme hari-hari
Sian.
kamu sangat kreatif. If you guys follow them,
Oh, thank you.
every time saya lihat page kamu saya ketawa. So funny, you know. So I want to ask like what is the idea behind it? You know, how do you come up with the ideas and you know how many people you have in your team, for example, to do
For the first Asia Goal, when I create Asia Goal, kita itu pakai konsep yang sama-sama seperti media sepak bola pada umumnya. Ya, like share a news, score, tapi ya maybe tak ramai lah, not interesting. So we decide to search new idea. So apa yang bikin ramai ya? Makanya kita buat konsep seperti meme or funny.
meme?
Meme ya, oke in English meme. Dan ya berhasil. Kita mungkin terbilang 6 bulan kita sudah tembus sekarang 120k. Ya. Good lah.
And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You know, I think you'll be the best person to speak about this. You know, selalu saya lihat di social media, terutamanya di konten, selalu fans Malaysia dan Indonesia seperti ada history di sana.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more about the rivalry between Malaysia and Indonesia fans? Why is there a rivalry?
Wah, itu panjang sejarahnya. Mungkin kita nggak tahu ya apa sih alasannya yang membuat Malaysia dan Indonesia itu tingkat rivalitasnya sangat tinggi ya. Bahkan nggak heran terjadi kayak kekerasan dan sebagainya mungkin di periode sebelumnya. Mungkin ya itulah, mungkin seperti Indonesia dan Malaysia itu seperti abang adik. Ya mungkin ya oke lah, kita di sepak bola kita itu pasti bakalan teman-temannya. We always fight gitu kan. Sometimes Malaysia is more good than Indonesia, sometimes Indonesia more good than Malaysia. So, but I think it's only for football because banyak aspek atau tentang seperti kayak kita membahas Palestina, biasanya Indonesia dan Malaysia itu bersatu.
Ya, itu
ya.
ya.
Gitu.
Okay, saya mau tanya pendapat kamu tentang timnas Singapura. You know, sekarang the time is not, you know, makin challenging. It's very challenging time for Singapore football. Surely you follow what's happening with us.
Yes, sure.
You know,
I was follow because Asia Goal always update about Southeast Asian football. So something I'm sorry Kak, because Kakak from Singapore, yes. Really sad to see Singaporean football. But Singapore have their prime. Mereka punya prime-nya, mungkin kita saat kecil tahu ya kehebatan Singapura pada tahun-tahun era 2000 sampai 2003 ya, dengan sukses naturalisasinya ya. Mungkin ya FAS atau Federation Singapura mungkin bisa lebih fokus kembali menggunakan sistem atau program yang di saat-saat Singapura lagi di masa prime ya, mungkin seperti kayak gitu.
Naturalization.
Ya.
Pada pendapat kamu kita harusnya membawa naturalization, tapi ada ada issues. For example, fitness. Saya lihat pasukan Thailand, Indonesia pun fitness tu tahapnya tinggi
yes.
You can run for 90 minutes. Itu solusinya. Do you think there's a solution for Singapore? Because we also fitness wise we are not very good.
Actually, Indonesia also not good for the fitness before. This
Coach.
sejak era Coach Sinteyong, this squad under team, the staff really focus about the fitness, sure. So yeah, I think the fitness of Indonesian player is really good right now.
Right now, also because Korean coaches, fitness
Yes.
is very, very important. Yeah. And what has been the best Indonesian match for you that you watched? In recent times, your favorite game?
Favorite
Maybe
game?
in Asian Cup or any game, the most memorable for you.
For sure, for the IFC under 23, we reached semi-final.
Yes.
We defeat Australia, Jordan, South Korea.
South Korea.
Yeah, South Korea. And then I think hanya setengah langkah.
Yeah.
We already reached Olympics. So,
And yes, almost the Olympics,
luck.
right? But if you're doing well under 23, under 19, that shows that your future is good. So how important do you think is youth football for Indonesia? Like, to perform well in under 19, under 23? Or do you think it's okay, only the senior team is important?
no, it's focused. You can see the example, okay? The last tournament in IFFU under 16, we already reached semi-final. We defeat Vietnam 5-0. See, and now IFFU under 19, we already reached semi-final. Yeah, I hope this time Indonesia will be the champion. So penting untuk not only focus for the senior team, but we Indonesia
Youth as well.
Yeah, all age we really focus to good in all aspect. Yeah.
Can
Something
you
like that.
explain a little bit about the fan culture in Indonesia? Because Indonesia have some of the most passionate fans
Wow, crazy.
on social media. Maybe you can share the passion behind why Indonesian fans so passionate about football.
I don't know. Indonesian fan is really very very crazy. Sangat gila. Terutama dengan performa Indonesia yang baru-baru ini sangat melejit ya. Seperti mencetak beberapa kali sejarah Piala Asia atau Piala Asia Under 23. So many fans or sometimes fans baru, or we can say that FOMO already love Indonesian football. I think it's a good way. That's why Asia Gold is really nice and bigger
So,
right now, because
FOMO itu terutamanya untuk cewek-cewek atau?
no. For all maybe karena mungkin sekarang lebih banyak fan baru berasal dari cewek. Biasa mungkin dia karena hanya suka satu pemain, dua pemain natural asing seperti handsome face seperti
Ganteng
Nathan.
gitu ya.
Yes, I mean, mereka tidak paham bola sebelumnya, tidak mengikuti timnas atau perkembangan sepak bola, tiba-tiba menjadi fans bukan karena suka dengan sepak bolanya, tapi karena ada faktor tertentu.
Tapi bagus ya untuk jersey kalau nak.
Ya,
jual
cool.
jersey.
For the market, PSSI good money, good business.
Money. What is your Indonesian football team? Apa?
To be honest, I never follow the Indonesian. Yeah, because I'm focused only for the
national
team. Yeah, this is the reason why Sinteyong, our coach, never tidak mengambil mayoritas pemain yang berada di liga. Mereka kebanyakan memfokuskan mengambil pemain yang bermain di liga luar ketimbang mengambil pemain dari Liga Indonesia.
For you, right? Okay, now Southeast Asia Gold, you do Southeast Asian football. Who are the key players, that we need to look out for in Southeast Asia in the upcoming AFF or qualifiers for you? Pendapat kamu?
The next future star?
Yeah, the next future star.
For me, especially in Southeast Asia, for Indonesia, Marcelino. Yeah, he's still 18 tahun.
Yes.
18 years old. And then from Vietnam, I count maybe 2 or 3. But
Vietnam,
I
yeah.
have to spell that name. Yeah, I think Marcelino. Marcelino is,
yeah.
I think, become the best future star, not only Indonesia but in Southeast Asia.
He's best friends with Ilhan Fandi at
Yes,
Adense.
Elvan Handi, yes. Ilvan Handi. Umur dia berapa ya? Irfan
I
Fandi
think
ya?
sama ya dengan
I see.
Marcelino
Yeah,
ya.
I think Ilhan Fandi have a prospect become the next future star player in Southeast Asia.
Dan dia juga popular di Indonesia ya.
Yes, sure. Yes, that's what I said. FOMO.
So I want to ask you tentang Vietnam sekarang. Selalunya Indonesia selalu berjumpa dengan Vietnam di AFF atau AFC. Seperti jodoh ya di sana.
Betul setuju. Kadang ada beberapa mungkin yang sebut bahwa rivalitas Indonesia sekarang saat ini Vietnam ketimbang Malaysia, mungkin karena beberapa kali pertemuan Indonesia sering bertemu dengan Vietnam ketimbang Malaysia. Dan kebetulan ini mungkin lagi era Indonesia, dari segala umur kita selalu menang dengan Vietnam. Nah, something like that. Ya, luck lah, for especially sejak Pak Erick Thohir ya menjabat gitu.
So pada pendapat kamu, Erick Thohir sudah datang, untuk change, Indonesian football. So are you happy with what he has done? What else do you want to see in Indonesian football?
Yes, mungkin bisa dibilang dari seluruh ketua federasi PSSI sepanjang masa, Erick Thohir yang terbaik. Sampai saat ini belum ada yang bisa mungkin menyamai level Erick Thohir. Ya mungkin karena channelnya dan backgroundnya besar,
influence-nya
mantan pelatih ya, mantan owner Inter Milan, Oxford dan.
Pendapat kamu, should there be a women's league here?
Ya, itu juga jadi fokus PSI ya, mungkin Erick Thohir ya. Makanya kita lagi sekarang membentuk banget timnas wanita juga gitu kan. Mungkin karena membawa pelatih ternama dari Jepang, mencoba mencari pemain-pemain naturalisasi berdarah Indonesia dan kurang lebih gitu. Dan yang mungkin minusnya sekarang kita belum ada liga domestik untuk timnas wanita. That's the problem for now. I think maybe 1 or 2 years they have a big prospect lah for Indonesian football.
Okay, so my big question is, who do you think will win the AFF end of this year?
The winner?
Yeah,
My
who will be
prediction?
champion and runner up?
Indonesia, I don't think so ya.
Really?
Yeah, really. Indonesia seperti macam we already have a curse.
A curse. AFF curse.
Kutukan.
Yeah,
something like that.
Belum pernah menang ya?
Yes,
AFF.
6-time runner up. Yes. Singapore more better than Indonesia. Singapore already have 4 AFF trophy. Indonesia 0. So I think.
Itulah sudah 10 tahun yang lalu ya.
Ya, I think especially Indonesia saat ini kemungkinan tidak akan bermain dengan skuad utamanya karena mungkin lebih fokus ke kualifikasi Piala Dunia ronde ketiga.
Itu lebih important ya untuk kamu.
For sure ya, because this FIFA point ya. Kalau AFF mungkin tidak ada FIFA point. Kalau untuk juara mungkin sepertinya Thailand lagi. Or Vietnam. Yes, maybe Vietnam or Thailand. Malaysia semi-final.
Maybe.
Yes.
They also recently, fired their coach as well. New coach as well. So, I just want to say thank you for joining me. Makasih ya.
Thanks.
And I always love your stuff. So, on Southeast Asia Goal. So, guys, don't forget to follow them on Southeast Asia Goal. And any message you want to say to Singapore or Indonesia fans? Football fans, yes.
Yeah. Soon I will go to Singapore.
Yay!
Football TV. Good. Cool.